But let's move on to our next game. Be an exciting time with definitely some nerves based on recent history here in Lexington when Kentucky tips off against Oakland, 7:10 Eastern on CBS in Pittsburgh. Kentucky's a 13.5 point favorite here, over under 163.5. Randall, Kentucky is a polarizing team. No result in this tournament would shock me. They could go to the Final Four. I don't think that their defense is good enough to win it all, but I wouldn't be shocked mid-run to the Final Four. I wouldn't be shocked if they didn't make it out of the first weekend. What do you see in Kentucky, Oakland?
Yeah, I see Kentucky running away here. Love Greg Campy. Fantastic with his zone, disciplined team. My issue with the Grizzlies here is that they entered the year with 107th in D1 experience and 110 in minutes continuity. So, Stuck, the team that I would like against the Kentucky would be like a veteran team with experience, like a Moorhead or somebody like that, who can actually inflict their style. I don't think Oakland's talent is enough to inflict a style advantage here. Trey Townsend is wonderful. He's going to struggle to get the baskets that he got against Milwaukee. Milwaukee wanted to get up and down the floor, and Oakland allowed 76 points to them. That was concerning. Their offense was fantastic, and Townsend was superior in that Horizon League championship game. It's just Kentucky's offense is too good. You really have to be able to play defense at a Texas A&M like level to limit them. I think they get open shots. They knock them down. Their depth, their offense is good enough to get through the first round. I don't know how long they're going to be in this tournament, but I do think they're getting by Oakland here. I will take them in this matchup.
Yeah, I can't see Oakland pulling off an upset. The only way that I could, like, Kentucky's defense sometimes just doesn't show up. And I will say, like, Kentucky lost at home to UNC Wilmington. They went to overtime at home against St. Joe's. And Oakland did fare pretty well in the non-conference. They won at Xavier. They lost by 6 and 11 on the road against Ohio State and Illinois. They lost by 8 on a neutral court against Drake. So, like, they did show that they can hang when they step up in class. But you mentioned it. They're one of the most zone-heavy teams in the country. So that does lead to increased variance, and they also shoot a ton of threes. And Jack Golke is the ultimate chucker. Yes, Jack Golke for Oakland, by the way, 327 3-point attempts, 8 2-point attempts, 327 to 8.
That's wild.
So Oakland doesn't play super fast, and they shoot a ton of threes, and they'll give up a ton of threes, which is what you're looking for if you want to pick a stunning upset. And like Illinois, like Alabama, Kentucky does fit that profile of a team that usually doesn't make a deep run. Elite offense, defense outside of the top 100 in overall adjusted efficiency. But I think there's too much talent for Kentucky here. And while Oakland's zone leads to a lot of threes, as you would expect, the problem is they lead to way too many wide open looks, unguarded jumpers. That's bad news against Kentucky. Kentucky's zone defense Kentucky's zone offense grades out elite. They also generate open, uncontested jumpers at one of the highest rates in the country and hit them at one of the highest rates in the country. So, unless Kentucky just has a nightmarish day from the outside, and even in that scenario, they have a huge size advantage. Like, they should be able to. They're not a great offensive rebounding team, but they should be able to get second chance points. They should be able to score at the rim. And this Oakland team, I have a lot of respect for Townsend. I actually think they'll be able to have a productive day. But the way that they work, it's an isolation heavy offense. So I don't think that they can really exploit some of Kentucky's like communication and assignment issues on defense, especially off the ball. So I don't think this is the worst matchup for Kentucky. This is the best 3-point shooting team in the country by percentage, and they're going up against the zone defense that allows just a non-stop flow of open jumpers. That spells disaster. The only way I can see this getting interesting is if Kentucky has a lot of pressure on them. just as a team. Like they live in a yeah, they basically live in like a micro. Everything is overanalyzed. The only thing that matters in this state is the basketball team. Calipari has not had any success in recent seasons. They've had early exits, bad upsets. So if Kentucky's ice cold and that defense just decides it doesn't want to show up as it does sometimes, and Oakland with 3-point variance can keep it close to like 10-minute mark, then the crowd, the nerves, the pressure, then it could get interesting. So Kentucky got to get off to a fast start here. Calabrese, any thoughts on this game before we move on?
This kind of reminds me of like a college football matchup where one team can't stop the run, and it's like, uh-oh, we drew a power rushing team. Like we're not going to be able to tackle anybody before they get 7 or 8 yards every single carry. Like this zone defense up against one of the best shooting teams in the entire country that eviscerates the zone. That's the same kind of formula here. It's like you have to get really creative to have any kind of game script where Oakland is hanging around and Kentucky is missing a ton of shots. I agree in a hypothetical world where Oakland, let's say, they get red hot, they make 14 threes and they hang around. The pressure does slide to Kentucky, but I think this is just an ideal matchup for the Wildcats to build some confidence back up and to head into the round of 32 with some wind in their sails.